The Heron and the Crab. Once upon a time, there was a heron that lived beside a big pond in a forest. He enjoyed eating fish and other creatures from that pond. But years flew by, and he became old and feeble and could no longer fish for himself. He had to think of another way to get his daily food. One fine day, the heron stood in the middle of the pond on one leg. He let all the fish and frogs pass by unhurt. All the creatures of the pond were surprised at this. A crab came to him and said, "Uncle, what is the matter? You have not caught even a single fish today." "Times are not as they were, my child," replied the heron sadly. "I have heard that they are going to fill up the pond and turn it into a farm. That means all the creatures of the pond will die." "Oh no!" exclaimed the crab. "This is bad news. I must go and warn all the creatures." The heron was pleased with himself and was amused when he saw the crab rushing about, informing the other creatures about their doom. The fish became frightened at this news and rushed to the heron, saying, "Oh, heron, please help us. Please, please save us." The cunning heron looked at them thoughtfully and then said, "I think I know how you can be saved. If you are willing, I can safely carry you to a big pond not far from here." The fish were scared, and all they wanted was to somehow reach the other pond. They surrounded the heron, pleading, "Take me first, take me, please." Pleased, the heron replied, "I am old and feeble. I can only carry you one at a time." The heron began carrying the fish one at a time. But he did not take them to the pond as he had promised. Instead, he took them to a big rock where he sat and ate them. The crab began to get suspicious, and so he observed the heron. One day, he went to the heron and said, "Uncle, this time, please take me. Save me too. You have been helping the fish for a long time. This time, please help me, oh poor crab." The heron was very pleased with his plan and thought it was time for him to try flesh of a different kind. He picked up the crab in his beak and began to fly. As the heron flew, the crab saw the pile of bones on the rock. He immediately knew that they were the bones of all the fish the heron had taken from the pond. The crab was frightened, but he gathered his courage and said, "Uncle Heron, how much further is the new pond?" The heron replied with a laugh, "What pond? There is no pond. Get ready to die." The crab was very clever. He grabbed the heron's neck with his claws and dug it into the heron's flesh. The heron screamed and tried to escape from the crab's clutches, but in vain. The heron fell to the ground and finally died. The clever crab dragged the dead heron back to the pond and told the other creatures about the cruel heron's betrayal. The creatures of the pond thanked him for saving their lives. The crab said, "I hope you've learned something from this incident." "Remember," said the crab, "one must always beware of a sweet tongue, as it can be deceitful."